Hello. Welcome to the Formula 1 Encyclopedia channel. Today, we're going to talk about the 1960 season, which was the 11th season held by the FIA. The season had 10 races on the calendar, starting on February 7, 1960, in Argentina and ending on November 20, 1960, in the United States. Stay tuned to see how the races of the season went, the winners, pole positions, and owners of the best laps of each race. Alright, get ready to find out how the 10 races of the 1960 season went. But before that, if you like Formula 1, consider subscribing to the channel for more information and news. Now let's see how the races of this season went. Race 1. The 1960 Argentine Grand Prix, held at the Juan Y. Oscar Galvez circuit on February 7, 1960, was a memorable event in the history of motorsport. With the participation of top teams and drivers, the race promised to be exciting from the beginning. And that's exactly what happened, with Bruce McLaren of the Cooper Climax team taking the victory after completing 80 laps in a total time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, 49.500 seconds. McLaren's talent and skill were evident throughout the race, showing why he is one of the most respected Formula 1 drivers. But McLaren was not the only one to impress in the race. Stirling Moss, also from Cooper Climax, set the fastest lap of the race, with an incredible time of 1 minute, 38.900 seconds. In addition, Moss took the pole position of the race, with a time of 1 minute and 36.900 seconds. Race 2. The 1960 Monaco Grand Prix, held at the Monaco circuit on May 29, was an exciting and action-packed event. And the winner was Stirling Moss of the Lotus Climax team, who took the victory after completing 100 laps in a total time of 2 hours, 53 minutes, 45.500 seconds. His skill and technique on the track left the competition behind, becoming one of the most memorable moments in the history of Formula 1. But Moss was not the only one to impress in the race. Bruce McLaren, also from Lotus Climax, set the fastest lap of the race, with an incredible time of 1 minute, 36.200 seconds. McLaren's talent was evident throughout the race, showing why he is one of the most respected Formula 1 drivers. The pole position was also taken by Stirling Moss of the Lotus Climax team, with an impressive time of 1 minute and 36.300 seconds. The pole position is a coveted starting position for all drivers, as it allows them to start in front and avoid any accidents or difficulties caused by a bad position on the grid. Race 3. On May 30, 1960, the most famous race in American motorsports, the Indianapolis 500, took place. In this edition, Jim Rathman of the Watson-Offenhauser team became champion after completing the 200 laps of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway circuit in a total time of 3 hours, 36 minutes, 11 seconds, and 360 milliseconds. During the race, Rathman set a strong pace, completing the fastest lap in 1 minute, 1 second, and 590 milliseconds. This lap was crucial to securing his victory, as the second-place driver, Roger Ward of the leader CR Offenhauser team, could not keep up with Rathman's pace, finishing the race with a difference of over a minute. The pole position, which is the most privileged starting position, was held by Eddie Sachs of the Ewing Offenhauser team, who recorded a time of 1 minute, 1 second, and 395 milliseconds. However, Sachs could not maintain the same pace during the race, and finished in a modest 10th place. Race 4. The Dutch Grand Prix, held at Circuit Park Zandvoort on June 6, 1960, was an exciting competition between the top teams of the time. At the end of 75 laps, the victory went to driver Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team, with a total time of 2 hours, 1 minute, 47 seconds, and 200 milliseconds. During the race, one of the most memorable moments was the fastest lap, set by Stirling Moss of the Lotus Climax team, with a time of 1 minute, 33 seconds, and 800 milliseconds. This impressive performance showed that Moss and his team were strong candidates for the podium, but in the end, the victory went to Brabham. The pole position, on the other hand, was won by Stirling Moss of the Lotus Climax team, who achieved an incredible time of 1 minute, 33 seconds, and 200 milliseconds. This excellent performance put Moss in a privileged position at the start of the race, but unfortunately, he could not maintain the lead until the end. Race 5. The Belgian Grand Prix at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps on June 19, 1960, was an exciting race for Formula 1 enthusiasts. Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team, with an excellent performance, secured the victory after 36 laps and a total time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, 37 seconds, and 300 milliseconds. The fastest lap of the race was recorded by Phil Hill of the Ferrari team, with a time of 3 minutes, 51 seconds, and 900 milliseconds. It was a memorable lap, with Hill giving his all to reduce the gap between him and the leaders. Unfortunately, his team could not keep up with Brabham's pace, and he had to settle for second place. The pole position, which guarantees the best starting position, was won by Jack Brabham himself of the Cooper Climax team, with a time of 3 minutes, 50 seconds, and 000 milliseconds. It was an incredible performance that allowed him to lead the race from the beginning. If you are enjoying this content, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to continue receiving Formula 1 information. Race 6. Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team dominated the French Grand Prix at the Circuit de Reims on July 3, 1960. He won the race after completing 50 laps in a total time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, 24.900 seconds. Brabham also set the fastest lap of the race with a time of 2 minutes and 17.500 seconds. Brabham secured pole position with a time of 2 minutes and 16.800 seconds, but his victory was not easy. He had to fight to overcome resistance from drivers like Stirling Moss, who led the race for a considerable period. However, Brabham's experience and skill in controlling his Cooper Climax were enough to secure the win. The race was exciting, with many overtakes and thrilling battles, but in the end, Jack Brabham came out on top. Race 7. In the British Grand Prix, held at Silverstone Circuit on July 16, 1960, driver Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team claimed victory after completing 77 laps in a total time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, 24.600 seconds. Brabham, who also secured pole position with a time of 1 minute, 34.600 seconds, showed great skill on the track, dominating much of the race and establishing himself as one of the great highlights of the season. Graham Hill of the BRM team set the fastest lap of the race with a time of 1 minute, 34.400 seconds. Hill, who finished the race in third place, made a great lap and showed all his talent behind the wheel. The race at Silverstone was filled with great emotions, with intense battles at various moments and moments of great tension on the track. Jack Brabham, on the other hand, proved to be unbeatable for much of the race, setting a strong pace and managing to maintain the lead until the end. With his performance, the Australian driver further consolidated his lead in the Formula 1 championship that year, making it clear that he was willing to fight for the title until the end of the season. The victory at Silverstone was another chapter in Jack Brabham's successful career in Formula 1. Race 8. In the Portuguese Grand Prix, held at the Circuit de Boa Vista on August 14, 1960, driver Jack Brabham of the Cooper Climax team emerged victorious after completing 55 laps with a total time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 0.030 seconds. Second place went to Bruce McLaren of the Cooper Climax team, followed by Maston Gregory of the Cooper Climax team. John Surtees of the Lotus Climax team set the fastest lap of the race with a time of 2 minutes and 27.530 seconds. Surtees also secured pole position with a time of 2 minutes and 25.560 seconds. However, both drivers from the Lotus Climax team were unable to maintain the lead in the race and finished in 4th and 5th place, respectively. Race 9. In the 1960 Italy Grand Prix, held at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza on September 4th, the great winner was Phil Hill, from the Ferrari team. He completed a total of 50 laps in a time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 9.2 seconds. It was an exciting race, with many disputes and overtakes, but he'll manage to maintain the lead and cross the finish line in first place. The fastest lap of the race was also set by Phil Hill, with an impressive time of 2 minutes and 43.6 seconds. This time reflects the skill and expertise of the driver, who was able to maintain a strong pace throughout the entire race. Phil Hill was also on pole position, with a time of 2 minutes and 41.4 seconds. This starting position was crucial for the driver's victory, as it allowed him to start in front and stay ahead of the other competitors. Race 10. On November 20th, 1960, the Formula 1 race took place in the United States at the Riverside International Raceway. Stirling Moss, from the Lotus Climax team, was the great winner after completing 75 laps, with a total time of 2 hours, 28 minutes, 52.2 seconds. Moss drove his team masterfully, showing all his skill in the turns and straightaways of the American circuit. During the race, Jack Brabham from the Cooper Climax team made a spectacular lap, setting the time of 1 minute, 56.3 seconds, as the fastest of the competition. Despite this, Brabham ended up in third place on the podium, behind the Ferrari driver Dan Gurney. Stirling Moss, who had conquered the pole position of the race, proved to be a complete driver, maintaining the lead from start to finish, without giving his opponents any chances. Moss's time on pole position was 1 minute, 54.4 seconds, which gave him an advantage at the start and facilitated his victory on the American circuit. With that, the 1960 season came to an end, with the New Zealander driver from Cooper Climax, Bruce McLaren, becoming the vice-champion with 34 points in the championship, and the Australian Jack Brabham from the Cooper Climax team, becoming the champion of the season with 43 points and winning his second world title. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel to receive more information about Formula 1. Please leave a like to support our work, and please leave a comment about what you thought of this content, so that we can improve our channel more and more. Thank you and see you next time.